Can you tilt the camera like down to the floor and things like that? Because I'm going to put a tube on the floor and step on it and do all kinds of unpredictable, maniacal things. So here's my palette of preference. It changes from time to time. I'm not really fixated on it. We'll go into that. Starting out with both fast and slow drying whites. The fast drying is Winsor Newton Griffin Alkyd. This is Cad Yellow Lemon, which is really my favorite yellow. But I also use Hansa Yellow. Sometimes it's a warmer yellow. Raw Sienna, Naples Yellow. This color is called Pale Rose Blush. It's marketed. It's basically a premix color. It's kind of a red with just a little earth red in it, and mostly and white. And I don't know. It's got all the ingredients on the back, which I don't know what they mean. You have to go online and see what PW6 means, because I can't tell you right now offhand. So burnt sienna, Cad Red Light is one of my favorites, but I also like Cad Red Deep. Alizarin Crimson, and this would be a synthetic version of it, because I don't think anybody makes original alizarin anymore, because it's a fugitive color. And the ingredients are listed on here. It's a type of quinacridone, I'm sure. So dioxazine purple, ultramarine blue, turquoise blue. This is the manufacturer's Rembrandt. And kind of coming to the end of this tube. And as you can see, I like to get my money's worth. And this is a cadmium green light. It's a newcomer to my palette. And it may stick around or it may go. I know for years I'd used dioxazine when I was really young, and then some reason or another I forgot about it for like the next 20 or 30 years, and now I'm using it again. It's a really useful color. Van Dyke Brown is my favorite, and basically what it is, it's a mixture of raw umber and black is what it looks like to me. And this is Ivory Black. Compared to other blacks, Mars Black is really has a high saturation or high pigment strength. And so it's harder to use. In a way, it gets away from you like phthalo. It's got a very strong. So I prefer ivory because it's just a little more civilized in its behavior. And this is liquid impasto, which I will stir in very carefully to make sure the colors dry at the same rate. If I'm using a fast dry white, then the other colors need to dry at a very equivalent rate for various technical reasons. And then I'm also trying out this terpenoid gel, which is essentially, I can't tell the difference between it and liquid impasto.
So are you saying that you're going to mix that liquid impasto with a dark color before you mix it with your fast drying white? Are you saying that a dark mixture that doesn't have the fast drying white in it, you're going to add?
I'd say, particularly if it doesn't have the fast drying white in it, but I'm not 100% consistent, because some colors, as much as I try to make them all dry at the same speed, it doesn't happen. In fact, even just your regular colors, they don't dry at the same speed. There's a lot of discussion. It used to be called fat over lean. And that had to do with putting your fast drying colors, which would be, say, like earth colors, down first, and your slow drying colors, such as various titanium white or cadmiums, last. Well, it's impossible to paint that way. It's ridiculous. You're going to only put your earth colors first and your cadmiums later. You end up mixing them constantly. So that's way too hard to think about. But a fast drying product is a lot easier to use.
So you are thinking more about dry time for your own convenience more than archival purposes. You want everything to be dry by the next day so you can do the next layer.
That's for my studio painting. I like everything to be dry by the next day so I can do glazing, scumbling. It's just because if you don't, the paint's going to be halfway between wet and dry, and it's kind of a nuisance to work that way. I just find it a lot more convenient for working if it's all dries at the same rate. And however, there can be exceptions to that. For example, I want it to dry very slowly because I'm still, and the reason for that is because you're mixing your colors on the painting itself. You mix colors on the palette, but you also, blend and mix them on the painting. And so when that's the case, I'll put my whole painting in the refrigerator overnight, or or in the wintertime, just put it out in the garage so it just stays cold. If you tilt the camera down, Jane. So I started my painting habits when I was very young. I was born in the Great Depression. And no, I wasn't.
He wasn't.
Not
He's
quite
not
that old. But I don't like to waste. I hate to waste paint. So what I do is, squeeze it as, get it down as far as possible, and then take an implement. I'm blocking your view, but let me see if I can get over here. Taking this and essentially squeezing the paint.
You don't like using the crimper tool for that?
I have a tool, but it doesn't work as well as this. There's like a laundry wringer type tool that you can use.
Yeah, I think that creates rips in the tube material.
This does?
No, the crimper tool.
It can. This can too. You have to be careful with it.
It's like a steamroller.
Yep. So, getting my money's worth out of this tube. Okay.
Do you do that with your toothpaste as well?
Sometimes I do with toothpaste. Hate to waste it. I don't use every color for all aspects of the painting. Like the next parts I'm going to do will be in the shadow areas, and I may just use black, a little bit of ultramarine, and an earth color, and Van Dyke brown, and that could be all that I need. So it's kind of it's a waste to squeeze out all your paints if you're not going to use them. I like to, but if we do need them, they're available.
I think it might be worth talking a little bit about the differences between the earth colors, Van Dyke brown, raw umber, and burnt umber.
Okay, there's I have here burnt sienna, raw umber, Van Dyke brown, raw sienna, and I also should have some burnt sienna. This is a pretty similar color. This is called light red, but I'd have to look up what's in it. I don't know. Your earth colors are the most permanent of all your colors. So when you're interested in finding out, the permanency rating, the light fastness, what you do is you see, it says light fastness 1. And so in this manufacturer, and that's raw umber. So I assume that means that, I know that it means that any other color that they make, it says light fastness 1, it's going to be as permanent as this, which is pretty impressive.
You're saying that's as permanent as it gets, is light fast 1?
Yes. Yes. And it's, and that's earth colors. They just really don't change. I would avoid chromium colors. would use oxide colors. See, oxidation is the final state of a metal, whereas a chromium is an intermediate state. It's a
I
too much detail. TMI.
I'm more referring to, I mean, that's good to know and interesting, but I'm more referring to Van Dyke brown, raw umber, and burnt umber out of the tube. They're just all dark,
Yes.
right? Burnt umber is warmer. You mentioned Van Dyke brown is a combination of black and raw umber. Did I get that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just when you're trying to decide which earth color you want to use, potentially thinking about the temperature, right? Van Dyke brown out of the tube is darker, but it's also going to be cooler than raw umber.
That's
because
correct.
it has
That's
some black in it.
That's exactly right. I think that's pretty complete.
Okay.